Panigrahi, co-founder and CEO of Amrit. But before going for his formal introduction, I would like to invite Professor H.N. Mishra sir to say a few words about him.
Okay, thank you, Sakshi. In fact, it's my uh, proud privilege, rather, and as well as pleasure to welcome such an enterprising student. I will say that he did a dual degree, BTech as well as MTech in food processing from IIT Kharagpur. And I remember that day when he and Murli, I think
Murli, yes.
Subhendu,
Yes, sir, Murli.
these two. And Subhendu did his master's project with me, but Murli, I think he was not with me for the master project.
Yeah.
But these two persons, they came to me and they said, sir, we do not want to sit for that IIT placement. And that was really surprising to me because I have seen throughout my almost 35 years in IIT Kharagpur, and students when they go in for IIT placement, they always say that we do not want to ठीक है थोड़ा सा एमटेक किए थोड़ा सा 1-2 साल का एक्सपीरियंस ले लो यू लर्न समथिंग एंड देन so what is the harm in appearing before the CDC? You go to CDC because I was confident they were such a good caliber student that definitely they would have got the job. At those times, job scenario in food processing was also very good. But they told they were determined, and this shows their confidence in them and commitment that they sort of no sir we will do this and we will not. So ultimately, okay, I told, okay, we are there with you and we will all support. And after that, I think after completing his degree, he moved to Bangalore, and then it is history. Rest is the history. And in the last, I think it is 12 years. How many years?
14 years, like
14
2010 I
years.
graduated, yeah.
Yeah, so
14 years
12, 14 years, and that he has made a remarkable, and in fact, he as well as his firm, and I think I was this earlier it was Scalenza or what?
Scalenza. Yes, sir, Scalenza.
And that was also invited into the Prime Minister's that when that Startup India
Startup
started.
India, we got invited, yes.
And there were a few startup who got this opportunity to be invited into that conclave, and that it means that it was again I think 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, this was 2016, yes, sir.
2016, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So it means that in just 3-4 years, you and your firm had made so impact that it was recognized at the national level.
Yes, sir.
That is what, and in fact, it is a pathbreaker, and many after you people went, and this really has given a path, and many other students after that, they have followed from our department and
other department.
from the other department, and even some of you like that Taranjit Singh Bhamra, he was senior to you or
Senior.
Senior, but yes, Taranjit was also, and they have opened even they are doing very good. So this gives really pleasure, and also we at IIT Kharagpur we feel happy that yes, our students are doing such great things in the academics and in the other things within the country and abroad. उन्होंने तो झंडा गाड़ी रखा है. Now in this field as well. All right. That they have done marvelous. So with this, I will not take much time now. People are eager to listen to Subhendu. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shubhendu is the co-founder and CEO of Amrit, an AI-based health companion that enables and rewards users to stay healthy. Previously, he started Skillenza, a challenge and peer learning platform that transforms the way companies discover, engage, and hire talent, which got acquired in 2023 by Emeritus Learning. He has also created and led India's largest online startups community, the Bangalore Startups, and initiated the reverse pitch platform where VCS and investors pitch to entrepreneurs. He leverages his background in food process engineering from IIT Kharagpur and his skills in new business development, customer relationship management, and consulting to drive his vision and mission. He is also a TEDx speaker, a CNBC Young Turk, and a mentor to aspiring entrepreneurs. He is a visionary entrepreneur and a community leader in the Bangalore startup ecosystem. Today is a great opportunity for us to listen to him in this FCTL webinar on the topic How to Start Your Startup, a masterclass on navigating the 0 to 1 journey of startups. So, sir, now I would request you to please.
Thanks, Sakshi. Thanks, sir, for the introduction. Basically, I don't know if you remember or not. When we did not sit for placement, we were actually we traveled to Bangalore with you for a conference.
Yes,
We were
yes,
in Bangalore. 2009 December. We did not sit for placement. You signed the document.
yes.
And for everybody's information, there is a program in IIT Kharagpur, which is the first IIT which did this program called Deferred Placement Program. And in fact, I was one of the early founding members of ECEL IIT Kharagpur. So I was, in fact, driving a lot of these initiatives back then. And I was on the organizing side. What Sakshi is doing, I was doing 15 years back as a student, inviting founders and VCs to come to the campus and talk. And there we started this program called Deferred Placement Program, where if you are thinking to start a company, you can get an approval from your department and the dean that you are going to start a company, and then can come back for placement if you fail, right? Come back to the campus for placement within 2 years. And so that's what the program was, and we were very keen to start something again in health food. If you remember, sir, it was on the health food side. And because I also did a project under Professor Mr. Cookies and ragi bread. Me and sir were actually thinking about a ragi multigrain bread 16 years back. This was 2008. Right, so I did that. Sir signed the document and I submitted it to the placement professor in charge. And then me and Murli, who was my good friend, we were both in the department, and we actually went with sir to a conference in Bangalore. And I fell in love with Bangalore, and I've been in Bangalore after that for almost 14 years now. Right. So that's what there. And then, sir, I have the document actually. That document you signed, I still have it. I'll send you the picture.
Yes, yes.
Picture on WhatsApp. So I'll just give up. Sakshi gave an introduction, but I'll quickly go through the journey. I joined KGP back in 2005. That was my first year. I really liked the department. Unlike, I think sir will also agree, a lot of our agriculture and food engineering students, like alumni who have gone through the department, they don't like the department that much. Sir knows that. SKD sir will also agree. But I really like, and in fact, it was because of Professor Mishra and other professors that we were given the opportunity to experiment. Right, our department was very open to do any experimentation you want. Right, any projects you want to do. Right, and the labs were open. I had the labs open actually whenever you want to do an experiment. We'll come to sir and say, sir, this idea, let's do this. And sir, being himself being a very enterprising, he was always encouraging us to think very differently, right? Not think in an academic way, but more from an industrial way. So that was good exposure. I really liked it. In fact, we wrote some paper. In fact, if it's I don't know if sir would remember or not. The multigrain bread actually got selected for a conference in Spain. This was back in 2008, right?
Yes, it's been years, and yeah, I remember fully.
This was this bread congress, right? 13th or 14th International Bread Congress, right? So that's what department really liked it. Worked on my idea for some time. We're trying to explore. Then also after that worked with a startup. Got an offer from a startup which was in RFID tags for food supply chain management. So worked there also for some time. And then started Skillenza, which was helping people to get talent, right? Get hired. One of the reasons I also there's some noise, I think. Yeah. So after that, ran Scalenza for 7-8 years. Then scaled the business. COVID happened, so COVID was a big blow to our business because people are not hiring. So ran it for during COVID time. Also, I felt sick. I don't know whether I've shared this with Professor Mishra. I felt sick. I did not take care of my health. As a founder, I was always running and doing, like, you can say, like 16, 18 hours, 16, 17 hours of work every day, right? Just to get running. And COVID happened. COVID was also very stressful. So I felt sick. I got ulcer in my stomach. I got COVID also. So that whole almost a year I struggled. Luckily, sir, I had the food biochemistry, the microbiology background. So I had to take matters in my hand. I was not able to kind of understand, work with the current doctors because my gut was not working. I used to remember sir's instant dahi back then, dahi powder, right? So I was trying to do like whatever, probiotics, everything, but I was not getting better. So luckily, I had that engineering background of food and microbiology. We had been taught about some of those things. Actually, started picking up those books and went deep into gut health, microbiology. In fact, and started understanding genetics, all of those things. And because we had that bent of mind, it helped me out. Found the right doctors, became better after a year, and then Ematicus. So went out in the market to see if there is a buyer for the company. Ematicus Learning acquired us. Worked there for a year, and then started again exploring what I want to do. Right, like sir said, right, I've been always like bitten by the bug of entrepreneurship and startups. So I was not able to work more than a year in Ematicus. Right? It's a large company that acquired us, but I still wanted to do something interesting. But this time I wanted to do something which I understand very well, right? Which is my background, which was food, health, and everything. And because I struggled, I thought I'll build something on in that topic so that I can use my engineering degree, right? And it was in fact quite interesting journey because of my background, I was able to understand and in fact holistically say that food is medicine, right? That's what I realized, that food is medicine. And for us to be healthy, what we need is we need to eat the right kind of food. We need to understand nutrition. We need to understand how food plays a role, right? And that became mission for my next, you can say, 10-15 years. And we just started like 6-7 months back. The company is called Amrit, right? And we have been working on an AI. Basically, it's an AI that will tell you what to do, right? When and based on your health status, it will tell you what you need to do, right? What food you should eat, what kind of nutrition you need, right? What kind of exercise you should do, and that's what we are building now. Right. So now what I want to understand from everybody, I think there are almost 25, 26 people. Can you quickly put on chat whether you are currently a student or a working professional? Just put it on chat, right? Just start. Anybody who can start. Just working professional. Okay. Others? Just don't be shy. Nobody's going to bite you. Okay, the good. A lot of working professionals. Startup. Okay, aromatic foods. What do you guys do? Aromatic foods. Is it something related to health? Oh, nice. So we have few founders also. That's good to know. A lot of working professional. Okay, cool. I think we have quite a good working professionals. Um, okay, let's start then. Validated products of cashew and coffee. Okay, nice. Great. Cool. Sir, I think there are a lot of working professionals. Good to know. I thought there'll be more students. So,
Yes.
I think
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
the format, the series is popular now.
Yes.
Good. Great. So, cool. So now let me start quickly on basically the topic, right? Which is basically 0 to 1 journey. Right? So let me just try to explain you what does this mean, right? 0 to 1. So 0 to 1 is nothing but where I was, let's say 6, 7 months or a year back when I wanted to start my second company called Amrit, right? So it's about thinking about what is the problem statement you want to solve, right? So as an entrepreneur, why do we even start a company, right? Well, like sir said, what are these kids doing? We were like 22, 23-year-old kids back, like almost you can say 15 years back, and we instead of going and sitting in a placement, we were actually going and chasing some idea, right? Why we were doing it? Because we knew that okay, even if we fail, we had this deferred placement program. Even if that does not work, we'll find a job. So finding a job was not a big deal for us, because there was some confidence that the IIT system had instilled in us, and that was 15 years back. But as of today, I think even if you're from IIT or not, does not matter, right? If you are smart and if you can do hard work, there is always an opportunity for you, right? So I think that ability of risk taking has increased, right? More, like as sir mentioned, more people now, more students. I see basically our IIT Kharagpur guys graduating into 22, 23, 24 are starting up now, right? Just after college, right? So back then, the number was less. Maybe few of my batchmates started when we graduated, but now a lot of people are starting up, right? So the risk-taking capability has already increased, right? So that's why you want to start. You want to start because you want to change the world, or you don't like the way things are happening, or you like to basically do things on your own way, right? You want control. You want to basically be part of the problem solving, right? You don't want to be another brick in the wall or another cog in the wheel, but you want to drive things on your own way, right? So each founder has her or his own motivation, right? That's what drives a founder. But that is one part of being a founder, right? What we call as don't romanticize entrepreneurship, right? Which means that what you should be always focusing is that I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to solve a problem, but never fall in love with the problem statement, right? Saying that okay, I can change the problem statement if things are not working, right? If things are not in the right direction, but I will never give up on entrepreneurship, right? Which means that I'll always be enterprising and I'll always try to solve a problem statement which makes the society or humanity or mankind better, right? And that's what is the first step, right? Thinking, uh, assessing your risk taking capability. Are you able to take a risk, right? It depends on a lot of things. It could be your financial status. It could also depend on what are the liabilities you have, right? Do you have a family to take care of, parents, siblings, if you're married, kids, right? Your life partner, your spouse, right? All of those things, right? So do assess your risk taking capability. That's a big thing when you are starting up, right? Nobody talks about it because, right? They'll always talk about fancy stuff, funding and B plan and team building, but nobody talks about how do you assess your risk taking capability, right? That's really important. There are a few lucky people who might have a good backing from, let's say, their generational wealth, or they have saved some money because they worked, right? But as young folks, you might not have that backing, right? So think about the risk taking capability, assess it, right? And always have a backup, let's say some capital, so that if things take time, you don't have that pressure, right, to go back to a job or stop chasing your dream. So that's the first step, right? Now second is that when you're thinking about a problem statement, right? As a first time founder, right? I'm a second time founder. And in between, I have tried a lot of ideas. But when I was starting up Skillenza, my first company, I was a product first founder, right? So what happens is when you start when you're thinking about a problem statement for the first time as a first time founder, you'll always think about a product, right? Because let's how do I you want to deliver something, right? Let's say you want to deliver a food item in a tier 2 city. So suddenly you'll start thinking, okay, I want to deliver for restaurant food in tier 2 city or tier 3 city. This is how it should look, something a little bit like Zomato, but maybe in local language, vernacular. Maybe people will not pay through phone pay or GPay. They're not comfortable. Maybe we'll do cash, right? But then you're thinking from a product perspective. You're thinking, okay, then but think, do people even in tier 2 tier 3 city need restaurant food? Because they might not have a busy lifestyle like somebody in a tier 1 city in metros, right? Maybe they will order, but the frequency will be less, right? Because they would like to order food from restaurant, but why? They might go and go and eat there because that becomes an outing for them, right? Maybe a tier 2, tier 3 city needs a more restaurant discovery platform than a restaurant ordering, right? Then go and compare those numbers with how Zomato and Swiggy are performing in tier 2, tier 3 city. So before falling in love with your product, right, product as in the solution, fall in love with the problem statement. Is it big enough to be solved, right? So that's the first thing, right? Think about the market, market or the problem statement, not about the solution. That comes later, right? So always think about the first step is to think about the problem statement and market size. Right? Always go beyond behind a big market, right? When I say a big market, that means that even so, what happens as startups, right? You are not able to let's say capture 1% or 0.5% of the market in the next 5, 6, or 10 years till you become a large brand, right? Uh, Before that, you are just like scrambling for the market. So what means is that if you have access to a small pond of water, and there are 50 people who are trying to get water out of it, you might get a half a bottle or a full bottle of water, right? So it's muddy. It is competitive. So that the size of the pond, right, actually determines how successful your business will be. So, for example, if I tell you that there is if you see guitars, right? Typically, guitars are designed for right-handed people, right? Because that most of the musicians are right-handed. Lot of things in the world are actually designed for right-handed people, but there should be products for left-handed people also, right? But then if I think that, okay, I want to build a guitar for left-handed musicians, how many left-handed people are there in the world? How many left-handed people are pursuing music, and then how many left-handed people want to play guitar? So that becomes your market size. Then when you think about it, you say, okay, maybe in India there are like 10,000 people who are left-handed guitarists. So what will I do by designing guitar for only 10,000 people who are scattered across the country, right? So what happens there is that when you operate in a small market, right, it is very difficult for you to also uh, spread the word out, right? Do marketing, which is called as go-to marketing in the startup world, in the investment world, right? Every VC will ask you what is your GTM strategy. That's actually go-to-market strategy, right? So when the market is small and it's scattered across a geography, then it's very difficult for you to do go-to-market, right? And then it becomes a niche company. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Everybody's an entrepreneur. Anybody who has a small shop selling, let's say, some food or clothes or vegetables is also an entrepreneur, right? Because the person still needs to put that effort to drive the business, get customers. So they're also applying the same principles that we are talking, right? But they operate in a small market, niche market, and they might be employing, let's say, 2, 3, or maybe 10, 20 folks, and we need those kind of business enterprises also, right? But when we talk about startups, we are talking about an experiment. Basically, if you want to put startups in one line, startups are nothing but experiments that we all do in our labs, right? But as we understand that the experiment has been successful, we go and write a paper, file a patent, and then give it out for commercialization, and and it becomes a mass market product, right? Same thing, right? Startups are nothing but experiments that we founders run for at least a year, 2, 3, or 4, and try to understand where the product is heading. Are people liking it? And what we call as product market fit, right? Is my product getting the product market fit? Are people liking it, right? So any popular product you use today, whether it's WhatsApp or Uber or Swiggy, Zomato, right, or Twitter, Facebook, all of these products took some time to get adopted, right? And there are products who became like that product to market fit became very fast, and that were all viral products that you might have heard about. Like Clubhouse was during the COVID time, if you remember Clubhouse, right? Everybody started doing this audio rooms and started talking. What we are doing now used to happen on Clubhouse a lot during the COVID time. So they rose. The PMF was very quick. They became very large company within like 2 years, but because it was a monumental, basically the momentum was through because of COVID. It fell down also after COVID, right? Once the pandemic got over. So chase a large market, And when I say large market, it has to be like in billions of dollars, right? For example, if we talk about food delivery market, it's a big market in India, right? Restaurant food delivery. You can think about how many like families are there, right? Even if they order, when will people order food, right? Maybe their maid has not come, or they are not in a mood to cook, or it's Sunday, they want to celebrate something, right? Just a Sunday, they want to eat outside food, not a home cooked meal, right? So if you do that, you say that every family might order like 4 or 5 times a month, and there are at least 30 million families in India who are really, I mean, has good disposable income. Then another 50, 60 million people who might order 1 or 2 a month, right? So now if you do the maths, you say, oh, boss, this is so big, right? And you can see today, Zomato, Swiggy, they're both big players. Zomato is public. You can see the numbers that they're doing really good. So because they went after a large market, right? So large market is important. Now, how do you find a large market, right? So every time, like for example, let's say talking about let's say healthy food, right? Now healthy food is going to become a large market. Why? Because everybody is talking about a lot of people are becoming health conscious, right? In fact, what me and Professor Mishra were talking about health food, this multigrain bread 16 years back, it was not a large market, right? People are not conscious about their health 16, 17 years or 18 years back, but now they are, because they have seen journeys, right? You can see that COVID happened, a lot of people felt sick. You every now and then you see that this ENY thing happened because of stress. Somebody passed away, right? So these things, these news, it's actually keeping us aware that okay, we should take a step toward healthy food, right? Which means that the market is becoming big, right? So you have to think that there are certain you can say market forces that are driving the market to become big, right? For example, this in this case of health foods, right, which will become big. AI has come up, so a lot of automation work will become big, right? A lot of mundane work that people used to do that has to be automated now, which the AI can do. So that market is now booming up, right? So either there is a technology intervention that makes the market big, right? Like for example, mobile phone came, geo revolution came, and everybody started using internet. So content consumption market became very large, right? Online payments market became very, very large. So you have to understand the macros, which we call as macros, which is like the really large driving forces, right? Which is basically, let's say, technology intervention. Second would be there is some like a market force like COVID that happened, right? This was like an aberration, but COVID changed a lot of behavior. And then there could be government regulation. Like for example, when demonetization happened, that was a government regulation that was passed, that this is what we will do, and suddenly the whole QR code and phone pay and Paytms of the world started picking up, right? They were, in fact, they were there for almost before, also 2-3 years before, but their PMF happened because of the government's regulation, right? So to keep an eye on what market forces are changing the market size. So always go for a large market size, right? India, if you are thinking as a founder that I want to work in India, like as a market, because I want to stay in the country and do something for the country, then you have to look at Indian market sizes, or you can build in India but sell to the global market, right? That is also possible today. It could be software, it could be hardware, it could be anything in food also, right? You can export these things. So I think also look at that market, right? So always go behind a large market, because what happens is even if you are a very strong team, good founders, smart founders, if it's a bad market, market will force you to fail, right? So the idea of all of these experiments, all of these analysis is to reduce the probability of failure as a startup, right? Reduce the probability of your experiment that you are doing, right? When you are I'm assuming most of the people here are engineers or people from science, right? STEM. So they know that when we are doing an experiment, we need to manage the parameters so that we don't end up having bad data, right? The same thing, right? When you're starting a company, we are thinking of so what people say is that the default state of a startup is failure. I'm not discouraging you, but that is how you should start, right? You should be very you can say thorough that when you're starting a company, the default state is failure. But then how do I decrease the probability of failure, right? Increase the probability of success by doing these things, right? The checklist, the first checklist is go after a large market, like really, really large market. So even if you take 1% of the market, you end up having, let's say, 100 million dollar of revenue in 10 years, and you are a successful company. So that's what you need to do, right? Large market. Now the second one, which is very crucial, right, is basically the team, right? You have to focus on building a great team, right? There has been cases where people have basically solo founders, or people call them as solopreneurs. That has happened, that people have started alone and they have succeeded, but that's a difficult journey, right? In fact, my co-founder in Skillenza was also from Kharagpur. He was my batchmate, he was my hostel mate. We were in the same wing also, right? And we were also roommates in Bangalore. So, and a lot of my team members were also from Kharagpur. So that the culture in my company was very pro IIT Kharagpur. It was not designed like that, but naturally it happened. You just attract the people you know, right? And that was my thesis, that hey, I know people who've been in the Kharagpur ecosystem, so I know that the way they've been trained, and I know their smartness level. So used to get those folks in, but it was primarily probably 20-30% of the whole company. The rest of them were from across other colleges, other cities, right? Tier 1, tier 2 cities, every city. And they're all smart people, right? The idea was to build a team which is of smart people, right? It's basically smart ass team, right? And find co-founders who understand your vision, right? So what happens is, when you are going to become a founder, right, you have to understand that what are you going to become in the team, right? Are you the CEO? Basically, CEO means that the person who is actually got the idea, or the one who's going to become the face of the company, right? But more than that, the CEO's job is to actually do everything. It's not actually chief executive officer, but it's a chief everything officer, right? So they have to do everything, which means they have to be always selling, right? That is what the CEO's job is, right? So when you're thinking of a company, also always think about what is my role, right? If you are a scientist, right? If you are a academician and you want to still start a company, then probably you could say I should become the chief science officer, or I should become let's say if it's in a healthcare domain, I should become the chief medical officer. If it's a technology thing, I should become the CTO, right? Or chief product officer. Because being a CEO requires you to be always outgoing and meeting people, always selling, right? You always be selling and closing, right? So that is what a CEO is supposed to do. So selling to investors, selling to team members, selling to customers, selling to family members, life partner, everything. So always selling, right? So understand your strength and weakness as a founder. So I'm saying founder, right? Then define your role. And in the early days of the company, always discuss these roles and responsibility, right? Because a lot of and most of the startups, if you ask, they have not done this, what I call as dirty talk, right? And who's the co-founder, like who's the CEO, who's the CTO, what roles we should do, what is the split of the the equity, right? The shareholding, how much one owns, right? Who's going to be who has the highest veto power, right? If something happens, let's say there's a decision that we want to take, and like 3 founders or 4 founders, there is a let's say healthy debate happening, but somebody has to take the call, right? And the CEO has to take the call. The CEO is responsible to raise money, right? So if you have those skills of being outgoing and sell, like of a hustler, sales guy, you should become the CEO. If you have the experience of proper technology, product, right, science, then you should become that product person, science, or CTO. If you are very good at managing, let's say, operations and processes and programs, right, you should become the CEO, right? If you're good at, let's say, doing marketing, doing branding, design, so you become the CMO. So always think about your strength. Even if it's your idea, you might not be the CEO. So you should accept that from day one, right? It might be your idea because you, luckily or unluckily, because of your whatever position of your life, you got to an interesting idea. But there might be a better CEO or co-founder CEO who can drive it. But you can also be a co-founder, right? Become the CTO or something like that. So always think in that direction, right? Because like I said, the idea of this talk is to make you understand that the default state of a startup is failure. How do we decrease the probability of failure, right? So first is go after a big market. Second is build a kick-ass team, which where all of these things are in black and white. So that should not, because co-founder issues, co-founder quarrels become a big deal, right? In fact, there are a lot of large companies where it has happened, and the companies have failed because co-founders fought. And that is where the company suffers, right? So company will suffer a lot there, because the morale of the team members will go down. All of these things will happen, right? So first thing, for build out a great founding team. As I said, co-founders, founding team members, founding engineers, like the first set of 10-15 employees are really, really crucial. And after that, always focus on building a great culture, right? As they say that culture eats strategy for breakfast every day. So let's say you as a founder are doing a lot of whiteboarding and going and meeting investors and giving a lot of talks like me here, right? Giving a lot of gyan and everything. But the culture in the company is not great, which means that people are not coming on time, or they're not meeting deadlines. There's no accountability. There's a brash culture out there. Probably there is favoritism happening in your company. There is some little bit of sexism or racism. You don't know, right? If you're unaware of that, that bad culture is going to eat away all of your strategy that you have been doing in your boardroom or your meetings, right? So build a good good founding team. Focus on building a great culture, right? That is very important. Obviously, you can do more research on how do you build a great culture. I just gave you a little bit because in the interest of time. But that's the second point, right? Once you build a good team, another, because I ran a hiring company. I worked with a lot of founders, recruitment managers, HR managers, right? And I understand how you should build a team and what kind of people you should get, right? In fact, we can probably, Professor Mishra, we can have another talk, right, in coming months, just on how to build a good team, right? We'll be happy to do that. And then,
Yes, yes, really, we'll organize another one. Yes.
yeah, but that's a long topic. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and then, uh, but since we are talking now, and since Sir has organized the meetup, I wanted to tell you what I've learned from my experience of almost 12 years of running the company, and then starting up again, and also interacting with thousands of founders. I've met thousands of founders personally in my life, right? During my Skillenza days, during my eCell days. So, so I think focus on product is the third part. That's why we're coming now. So how do you build a great product, right? So now, because you have understood the market, what you need to do is you need to be very hands-on and go and start talking to the customer, right? That is very important. Talking to the customer is very important. Are people, are you folks basically liking what is the pace of the talk and the flow? Any feedback till I
Yes, yes, yes. We are enjoying your session.
Thank you, Samitra. Yeah. So like I said, right? Yeah, good. Thanks for the feedback. Always, that's exactly right. So you are my customers. That's what I was going to aim for. That you are my customers today, right? Sir has organized me to pitch in front of you, tell you about, and like I said, right? Any opportunity is always an opportunity for you to showcase, right? And whatever you do, the feedback loop has to be there, right? So as a founder, your job is to understand what the customer is facing as a problem before you talking about solution, right? Just understand their problem statement. What are they going through? Like how miserable or bad their life is, right? It could be anything. Like if you're going to do, let's say, a B2C idea, right? Like a business to consumer idea. Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, these are all called B2C ideas, right? B2C apps. Or you want to do a B2B app, right? Like, for example, you want to build a software that which let's say tracks productivity in a company, or which helps the CFO to manage finances, accounting, or you're giving a tool for marketers to target some influencers, something like that, right? These are all B2B tools, SaaS tools, as they call, software service tools that you can build. That's a great model today, right? And especially from India, as Indians, we have an advantage of building the software at a very lower cost than the global counterpart, and selling it to a US or a mature market, US or European market, Singapore market, right? So that's where a lot of companies have been built. I mean, I was talking more about consumer products because you can relate to it, but also if you have heard about Freshdesk, Zoho, right? These are really in you can Capillary, which is one of our KGP alumni company, Anish, right? They started by three of my seniors, and it's an amazing company. They do loyalty solution for retailers, right? It's a SaaS company, enterprise software. They sell software to the enterprise, so you can sell software to an enterprise or a small company. You can actually sell something to users, or you can build D2C products, right? Today everybody uses Mamaearth and all of these products. These are all called D2C brand, direct to consumer. Right? When we were kids, we there were only few brands in the country, right? There's like Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, Procter and Gamble, Dabur. These were like few brands, but as of today, everybody can start a brand, right? The manufacturing costs have gone down. A lot of IPs there, so you can build food products, health products. You can build skincare. You can actually build different new kind of T-shirts, right? Shoes, right? Shoes is becoming popular. So these are like different ideas, right? These are different market segments that are becoming bigger as Indian market. The basically disposable income is increasing. People are looking for better products. So overall, these are the areas that you want to chase, right? So now, if you are a, let's say, B2C or a D2C brand, what you do is you meet real people, right? It could be your friends, it could be your colleagues in the office, it could be relatives, family members, and do basically what you call a customer survey, right? And when you do a customer survey, don't share an idea with them, like what you're doing. Just try to understand their problem, right? For example, let's say you meet somebody who's looking to now just joined a job and looking to, let's say, think, okay, I have X amount of salary, my expenses are Y, I can save X minus Y. I don't know what to do with that money. Let's say it's only 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month. What should I do? Should I park it in my savings account, or should I invest? Right. So then now understand what problem they're facing. Right. The problem could be that nobody has taught me how to manage my finances. Right. When we were young, or today also, right? People are not taught how to manage finances. Their parents will only say that save money. It's not saving money, right? It is that make your expenses less, right? But then what do you do with the the rest of the money, right? Invest in gold, stocks, bonds, like maybe crypto, right? So now don't give the solution. Ask them what is the problem, right? When you talk to the consumer, young, let's say, this is the idea we are chasing, right? We're saying that a lot of, for example, we're saying, so it's a real problem statement. In India, only I think 3 to 4%. I think 3 to 4% of people invest in stock markets, and there's a large market, right, out there. And around, I think, 8 to 9% of Indians pay taxes. There is around 10% of Indians who order online food, or 10 or 12%. There are like 20% of Indians or 30% of Indians who use internet on a regular basis. So you can say that, okay, I think the stock market has a large market size. It can become very large going forward. There are a few players out there, large players, but still there is room for you to go and understand investment, right? How do you help people to invest in a better way, Indians to invest in a better way? And then there could be traditional products, investment products like FD, right? Gold, these are our traditional products. Then stock market is not traditional, but still in between, right? Now you can say you can do futures and options, or you can do cryptocurrency, right? All of those things, or digital tokens. New products are coming up. Now you need to understand the users, where they stand, right? Are they looking for understanding a certain kind of product, right? Is it education the problem? Is it basically the strategy problem, right? Let's say I want to invest in stock, right? What is the right stock for me? So I think what you need to do is you need to do these customer interviews, as we call it, and do these customer interviews along with them, and don't force your solution to them. Never talk about your solution. Always talk about the problem statement. Show you can say what we call as customer empathy, right? Do that so that they you understand their problem statement. Okay, the idea is to understand the problem statement without giving them any idea, right? But then what you should never ask them, would you use my product, or what do you need a solution, right? If you are facing this problem, what is the solution you're looking for? Obviously you can ask them. That's always a good idea to see if they have been thinking about it, because that also helps you to sometimes to hire a good team member. You might find a good team member who has already thought about the problem statement, but don't take that idea as it is and start building it, right? So Henry Ford says, it's a very famous quote, that if I asked people back in, let's say, almost 100 years ago, 120 years ago, what do you want, right? So 100, 120, 30 years ago, people had horses and horse carts. There were no cars, right? The steam engine was just getting built and cars were not ready, probably I think 130 years ago. So so when you go to somebody who has a horse and say, hey, what's your problem as a rider or as a traveler? They'll say, oh, I just need a better horse. My horse is weak. It's not running fast, right? I need a better horse. I need to feed better food to the horse, or a better breed of the horse. So Henry Ford said, if I ask my customers what do they need, they would have said, give me a faster horse, right? But I did not listen to my customers. I actually built out a car. But the actual crux out there is not listening to the customer. So the customer said, I need a faster horse. So don't think about the horse. Focus on the word faster. So their problem statement was that I need to go to from point A to point B in a faster way. Why? Because previously there were no people used to walk, right? They would take like ages to go from one place to another place. If they don't have access to horses, they will walk. But as society started evolving, people started taking up more work. They wanted more speed, right? So everyone wanted become faster. So that's what Henry Ford picked up, saying that, okay, I will not make a better breed of a horse, but I'll make a better solution, a better mousetrap, right? Which will solve the user's problem. The user's problem is to move from point A to B in lesser time, not a faster horse. Somebody else could have said, okay, so that means that I need a faster horse. So which is the better breed? That could be another parallel universe, right? Where Henry Ford would have said, okay, let me do one thing. I will hire a geneticist, right? Who can then go around the world and find the best horse breed. We'll do a crossbreeding of these horses. We'll feed them the right food. We'll manage their health and make them faster. Now the horse is running 5 kilometers per hour faster than the previous generation of horses, right? That's not what Henry Ford did. He actually invented the car. So I think that is what it means, right? So when you're talking to the customer, always talk to the customer, but never take ideas from them, right? Always listen to what problem they are facing. So basically, customer empathy, right? That is what is very important. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just give you. So if you know about Y Combinator, so Y Combinator is basically an interesting you can call it as an accelerator, incubator, which works with a lot of young founders like you folks, right, who have an idea, who might have built out some prototype or a POC, and they work with them and actually help them put a small amount of money, and they help them to basically in their journey, right? The initial 0 to 1 journey, what we are talking about. And a lot of things I have also learned. Y Combinator was not my investor, but the lot of their content is online, and I always go through them whenever I face a problem. So I've learned a lot from them, as like an Eclavier. But yeah, if you are thinking seriously to start a company, you should always look at YC video, and they have a startup school. So go there and go through some of the content. That will actually what I've been talking about, a lot of things have been covered there in a deep manner, so you can go through, right? So now where we were exactly, talk to the user, understand their problem statement, and then come back and start building from that experience, start building out a product, right? What we call as minimum viable product, right? So basically, what is the bare minimum? Because as a early stage startup, as a founder, what you do not have is money, because it's just starting up. Nobody has given you investment. Maybe you have taken some money from your parents or your friends, like few lakhs that you have saved. You're trying to experiment with that money. There's no real investment that has happened as of today, right? Nobody has given you money yet. So which means that you have to be very frugal, and you have to save money and do experiments in a very smart way, so that you don't end up creating a better breed of horse, but you end up creating a car, right? The idea is to create a car, not a better breed of horse. That was the not the right way of doing it. There were better breed of horses. They might have been used in car, basically horse racing, but they never would have, because then basically horse riding became obsolete, right? I think in San Francisco, when San Francisco the car revolution started, San Francisco was all horse carts, and there was a big debate in, I think it was same 1890s or something, when there was a big debate in the basically San Francisco's municipality, right? The team that no, we'll not allow cars. It will be very difficult. Horses are there. Are a lot of basically families dependent. The cart guys are there, but then they had to, because the change happened, right? Because there was a better product out there. So people's problem got solved, and the car and those cart guys started getting absorbed in some other industries, and world became normal, right? So every time a new revolution happens, this is the resistance that you will always see, right? It has happened always. Apple faced it from IBM. All of these things have happened, right? Apple actually faced it from Nokia also at some point in time, but Apple became the eventual winner, right? So when you are doing something like this revolution, you will see that kind of resistance happening, right? So now build out a MVP, minimum viable product, with spending less resources, right? And then go and test it out with the customer, right? So always be open for feedback, because if the customers are not liking it, you cannot force feed something, right? You cannot say, oh, why people are not liking it, they don't know how to use my product. Never. The customer is always right? And if some of you are from a business family, your grandfather or your parents would have always told you, right? The customer is always right? Customer is king. The customer is always right, which is true. Customer is always right, because your job is to simplify whatever you are doing so that the customer understands it. You cannot expect the customer to be a PhD from IIT Kharagpur to understand certain geeky thing that you are talking about. That's not how it works, right? You should always focus on making it very simple for the customer, because customer has a lot of other things happening in his or her life, right? They want to use your product to solve a certain problem, a very small problem, not become obsessed with your product. You are obsessed with your product. They will never be obsessed with your product, right? So get that feedback loop going on. Take first level of feedback from the customer. Basically, do the video I've shared, right? How to talk to users, do customer segmentation, and basically understanding what we call as basically ideal customer persona, ICP, right? And the ICP, talk to them, get their feedback, take it into the product, use your own brain and some other market research, build out the MVP, go back to again those customers, what we call as early adopters, and maybe some more, give them the product, work very closely with them, get feedback, and then reiterate, right? Whatever is not working. So now keep working in that cycle for, let's say, few weeks, and do very fast iteration, right? That is what the job of a founder is. This is an experiment where we need to succeed, right? Where we need to reduce the probability of failure. So the experimentation has to be fast. And as you do keep doing these fast iterations, you will end up having something that people like, right? It is sticking, what we call as a sticky product. And once that happens, you know that, okay, I have now, let's say 5,000 users, and they are using the product or application regularly. If it's a B2C app, or let's say it's a B2B app, and for example, let's say we build something for professors, because we have sir and SKD sir in the room. Let's say we build a tool for professors where they can do research work better, right? Or whatever analytics we are doing in lab in a better way. So that will be a software that you will sell to the institute or universities, and they will pay it for you, right? So now what you do is you go and meet 50 professors and ask them, like, sir, when you do an experiment, are you recording the data? What kind of analysis you are doing? right? Are you using Excel or Google Sheet, or using pen and paper? Could there be a better product for you, right? So understand their problem. They understand that professors need cross collaboration between research scholar, PhD graduates, students. There could be external consultant coming up. So how do you manage that whole process, and then give them a software which is easy to track, maybe mobile friendly, right? And then give it to few, let's say two professors, early adopters, for free. Say, sir, use it for 3 months and just give us feedback. You always, so in any industry that you do, right, any work you do, you'll always find early adopters, whom I call as angel customers, right? These are people who are generally supportive. They'll always be, basically, let me share my screen. I think this is an interesting thing that everybody should know. So finding that, you can say, early adopter is the key, right? If you do not have not found an early adopter a customer, then you are either found the wrong set of customer, or you're building a wrong product, right? So that is what needs to be done. So now there is a book called Sir, what I'll do is, there are few books I want everybody to read. All right. I will actually put the name in the group. Is that okay, or should I put it here?
Hello.
Sir.
Subhendu?
Sir, I was saying I will suggest few books that everybody should read. I'll just put the name of the books in the group.
Yes, yes. You can put the name in the group, or you can also upload it on our lab website also.
I think everybody can see my screen, right? Now we have gone through, right? Let me summarize quickly. Market size, big market, always go after that. Use these macros, industry reports. There are a lot of industry reports that you can find. In fact, Professor Mishra would have access to a lot of reports around, let's say, food, agriculture, farming, right? If you want to do that in that sector, we do get industry reports which says that, oh, this online food delivery or online medicine delivery is $200 billion market, right? So these kind of things, follow news to see which are the upcoming markets. There are a lot of investors who write about it, so follow them, right? Then second I said is build a good team, right? So once you get an idea, it's your job to convince your co-founders, basically do the dirty talk, all this, whatever shareholding and shares and all of these roles and responsibility, write it on paper, black and white, close it, right? And then build the next set of team members should also be A class, right? Not obviously in early days you are constrained for cash, right? You don't have money, so that's again your sales job to find the right team member. You have to motivate somebody who can join for zero money, right? And you will always find people like that. I have found people like that, right? And like I said, some of them are from Kharagpur because they knew what I was doing. There was a relationship out there. So always look at that. Look at your colleagues, friends, your batchmates, your seniors. Always be selling, right? You always have to be hustling. It's a journey that you're signed up, right? It's not a job role. It is a way of life, right? Entrepreneurship is a way of life. It's a very different ball game, right? But it's not that you need a special DNA to do that. It's just the moment you have the motivation, you start your journey, right? And there is enough ecosystem in India as of today to help you out in your journey, right? In fact, what Sir is doing is great, right? This talk is also one of those efforts to help people to become founders. So now, like I said, when you think about the product, now who's the right customer, right? Even if you are saying that I want to do this online food delivery or online medicine delivery, or let's say this analytics or data analytics and collection product for professors and research scholars in universities, who's the right first set of customers I should go for, right? So any market, any product will have these early adopters, right? They are called as innovators. These are people who are generally with you, right? They're angel customers. They will find you somewhere, right? If you start writing about your product on LinkedIn, or you go to some event, right? Or you put it on Twitter or anywhere, you will always find these people who will say yes to you, because they are generally, you can say, experimental. They want to try out new things. They have this set of mindset where they actually want to use these kind of products, right? So, for example, I belong to this innovator category. I always try to find out new products in the market. I experiment, I give feedback, right? But there are certain areas where I was not an early adopter. I used that product after 3-4 years or 5 years, right? Because that I don't relate with that category of product. So that's how it happens, right? So in some category, you'll always have innovators who want to do. For example, I'll give you my example. Right? I'm building an AI which will keep people healthy, right? For me, the early adopters are people who already have a smartwatch like Apple. Some of you might have Apple or Garmin, right, or a Fitbit, or people who are athletic. They are going to gym, right? These are people who are already in their path of being healthy. They've taken the positive step. Now they want to become better. So I should go to them, not to somebody who's going to McDonald's every day to eat, because that person does not care about his or her health, right? That will come later. So first, you can say the first couple of years is innovators, and these innovators will help you to shape up the product, give you feedback very closely. Some of them might become your investor, might become your team member, right? They will. So there are people who want newest thing, right? They are people who will talk about you also, right? They will be very vocal about it. Now, once you have done that, you start getting these early adopters, right? That's also a good number. These early adopters are people who will hear it from their innovator friend, right? Saying that, hey, I use this app, or this is a great product, and you should also use it. So they'll say, okay, since you are telling me, I'll use it. And that is how you go to the next phase of growth, right? Once you have crossed this, what they call as chasm, right? This whole, you can see this break, the break which is there. That is when you start growing crazily, right? So that's where you start growing crazily. And a lot of startups fail here, right? They're not able to cross the chasm. They're not able to jump, right? Once you have jumped it, then you start becoming a mass market, right? So, for example, like Flipkart or online e-commerce, all of these companies have gone through late majority, and they have become matured products, right? Some of the, let's say, there are a lot of new apps coming up where you can go and play, let's say, do some quizzing or Antakshari, some of the new things I was seeing. They are just crossing the early adopters, right? Maybe you have not heard about it. Maybe after 2 years, you will see that everybody's using those apps, right? So as a founder, you have to understand who's your innovator and an early adopter user base, right? Segment them and target them only. So if you go to a late majority or laggard and say that, hey, will you use this product? They'll say, no, I don't want to use this. This is like nonsense, right? But that's not the right thing. You need to find, they will eventually everybody went on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Everybody started taking Uber, Ola, right? Everybody has started ordering food, watching content online. So the user behavior is changing, but it is a process, right? You cannot change everybody's behavior in a single day. It takes time. So the first set of users should be innovators. That's how you get to the thing. Now, once you have crossed this chasm, right, this area, that's when you start becoming ready for investors, right? Where you go and actually talk and raise money, right? So that's when your stage one starts. This is where you are actually, when you have crossed the minimum set feature, you are now have a product. The experiment is successful. Now you have a product which then should grow faster, right? When you want to grow that thing faster, that's when you need more money, more capital, better team. Then you want to go to this early majority, late majority through running ads, doing brand campaigns. You would have seen a lot of new brands just randomly coming up on a TV ad in a match, right? You say, I have never heard about this brand. How did they come with an ad, right? And that too TV ad during a cricket match. But that's not true. That there could be, like, let's say 100,000 or 1 lakh users who've already used that product in the last 3 years. So they were their early adopters and innovators. Now you as a early majority seeing it in an ad or in a you can say print copy or a TV ad or a Facebook ad, right? Or a YouTube ad. So that's how it happens, right? and that's when you need cash capital to grow faster. So you have actually crossed your 0 to 1 journey, right? So now this is 1 to 100. Now you have to scale. You have to become larger. Keep doing experiments, because sometimes what happens is, if you are in a market which is not growing that fast, which you assumed in early day, you might also want to build new products, same customer, but you want to build more products, right? So that could be another way, or you can build more features into the product. All of those things happen, right? So these are like, once you've crossed that, you will have a lot of support from the ecosystem to go through that journey. But 0 to 1 stops there, right? The 1 journey stops there. In fact, I have put a book called 0 to 1, which will actually help you to understand some of these things. And there's another book called Lean Startup. I'll also put it in the group, right? So that's where you start your 1 to 100 journey, right? That's a different journey. I did that in Scalenza. I went from 0 to 1 in almost a couple of years, then 1 to maybe 7 or 8 or 10. I never went to 100, right? Because COVID happened, then my health was not good. But still, I saw that 1 to 10 journey, which means that I scaled the business from 0 to a product that people started liking. And then I signed up large customers. I built a team of 35 team members, raised a couple of $1 million. So I did something, you can say 1 to 7 or 1 to 10, whatever scale you want to do. But I never saw 100. Maybe Flipkart and Zomato are at 100, right? So I want to see that now. I know how to do 0 to 1 because I've done it. I know how to do 1 to 10. So I will do that in the next 2 to 3 years. But from 10 to 100 is something that I want to learn now, right? That is where, so as a founder, you should always be learning also, right? Because there is always another set of founders or people who have done larger businesses than you. So you should go and talk to them and learn from them, and also give back the way I'm doing it right now, right? So that's how it happens, right? So 0 to 1 is how this journey is mapped. I will be happy to take questions. I hope it was useful, the session.
Very, very useful. Very useful. It's really quite.
Yeah, I thought I'll just speak. I don't want to put it on slide, but maybe I'll put it on slide next week.
That is much better, and people enjoyed it. A lot of informative and encouraging, motivating talk.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we can have some questions
Yeah.
from the audience, questions, suggestions.
No, you can put it on the chat if you are shy to talk in mic, or you can come on mic also.
Yes. Who is Sakshi? Are you? Who is doing?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Any
yes.
questions?
Is there any?
Jaideep has. Yeah. Jaideep, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Sir and Subhendu
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Good evening, Jaideep.
I'm an integrity of ABIA, IID KGP.
Okay. Okay. Agribusiness Incubation Founder. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please,
So,
please tell what you want. Subhendu will.
मैं फूड प्रोसेसिंग में काम कर रहा हूँ, तो हम एक इनोवेटिव प्रोडक्ट किया हो के मल्टीपर्पस यूज करके केमिकल फ्री. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे सर यही था कि आप तो स्टार्टअप किए हैं, तो हम लोग का अभी जो फेस करना पड़ रहा है कि वो फंड का बहुत जो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि स्टार्टअप का जो एकदम सब कुछ ठीक है, मगर उसको आगे जाके रन करने के लिए फंड होता है. अभी तो कोई VC या एंजल इन्वेस्टर आएगा नहीं. अभी तो हम लोग को अभी रेवेन्यू भी बहुत ज़्यादा कम है, तो हम लोग इस प्रॉब्लम को कैसे सॉल्व करें? आपसे यही मेरा एज ए स्टार्टअप मेरा यही जानना है कि इस प्रॉब्लम को हम कैसे सॉल्व करके आगे जाके करें. और एक बात है कि हमारा जो प्रोडक्ट है, हम प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट होने के पहले 1200 से 1500 सब सैंपल किट बना के सबको दिया, उससे फीडबैक लिया कैसे क्या हुआ, सबसे जो फीडबैक मिला उससे लेके आइडिया लेके मैं प्रोडक्ट को और ज़्यादा डेवलप किया हूँ. तो उसका प्रोडक्ट का जो यूएसपी है, इस प्रोडक्ट से फ्राई, पकोड़ा, डोसा, ढोकला, सूप सब कुछ मल्टीपर्पस यूज है. हमारा प्रोडक्ट का नाम है स्मार्ट मिक्स करके, और ये टोटली स्मार्ट मिक्स.
And this is like what? This is a mix of dal and rice powder or something.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so you can make dokla and all of those things.
ढोकला, डोसा, फ्राई, पकोड़ा, उत्तपम, चीला, कढ़ाई, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं.
Got it. So basically, see, So Abhi, now since people have liked it and you're saying the customer validation is good, so what do you need to do, right? In case of money, right? There are two ways to do it, right? A is that you sell more, get more customers, right? You can also do B2C, which means that you can actually go to these malls or go to a community living, right? Like let's say apartment complex and put a stall there, talk to them, put a stall there, give samples and sell more, get more money like that. Second is that you can always find let's say a few of your colleagues and family members or your friends who can be your early believers, right? In fact, when I started Skillenza, few of my batchmates had put money because they believed in me and what I can do, right? You will always find people when they see your passion, right? To focus on getting more revenue. You can also think if there is a way to sell it to B2B, right? Sell it to restaurants, small restaurants who can actually use the product to save money. So try to see if there is a way to get to a better revenue and get a small, you can say, line of credit or investment going from your what we call as 3F fund, right? Friends, family, and fools fund. That every entrepreneur has done that, and that's how all the businesses have started, right? And as you hit a certain number, you can talk to investors. You can actually start talking to investors in the coming days, right? Little early also, that's okay because investors also take time and it's the relationship building that has to happen, right? It's almost like you are getting another partner. So you have to date also, right? Which means that you have to meet them beforehand, share your passion, share your story, give them regular updates, right? But focus on revenue and then maybe a uh, small friends and family round if you think that your early believers can do, right? And you know, a lot of investors really like when founders say that my friends or my colleague or my ex boss has put money, because that shows that the founder is able to sell his or her vision to people he or she knows, right? That is important.
थैंक यू सर। और एक आपसे सजेशन था कि ये हम बहुत सारे एग्जीबिशन और एक्सपो में हमारा जो प्रोडक्ट है और उस प्रोडक्ट से जो बनता है, जो पीस बनता है, हम जो क्लेम करते हैं हमारा जो पैकेजिंग में है, वो बना के हम लोग सेल कर रहे हैं, ये चीज़ सेल
हाँ
कर रहे हैं, सेल कर रहे हैं। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि उसमें भी बहुत बढ़िया फीडबैक आया है। अभी जो हम कोहर्ट में है APIC का, तो उसमें शालिनी मैम का ब्रदर इन लॉ गया था, हम ठाकुर जी न्यू टाउन में एग्जीबिशन में पार्टिसिपेट किए थे। वो सब जो भी गया वो लोग हमारा प्रोडक्ट खा के बहुत अच्छा रिव्यू दिया। तो हमारा आगे का सोच यही है कि जो हम रिटेल में जाता है या ऑनलाइन में जाता है, उन लोगों का यही बात है, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है। हम आपके लिए क्यों ज़्यादा बोले, जो रिटेल
हाँ
काउंटर है जो दिखता है, आपका कोई ऐड नहीं है, कोई कुछ भी मार्केटिंग नहीं है, हम लोग आपके लिए 2 मिनट भी कैसे ऐसे क्यों खर्च करें। हम तो उसमें क्या है, हमारा लास्ट 1 ईयर का एक्सपीरियंस है कि ऑफलाइन मार्केट सिस्टम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने में, खड़ा करने में बहुत सारा तकलीफ
हाँ
आ रहा है। तो हमारा नेक्स्ट प्लान ये है कि इस प्रोडक्ट से जो खाना अच्छा बनता है उसी का ही हम एक काउंटर ओपन करेंगे, उसको जाके अलर्ट करें और उसी से आप खाइए, आपको अच्छा लगे और अच्छा लगे तो घर के लिए ये भी ले जाइए।
हाँ हाँ, you
हमारा
can do that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
ये आइडिया क्या काम करेगा सर? आप क्या आपका
नहीं, उसमें आइडिया तो अच्छा है बट थोड़ा सा उसके ऑब्वियसली और डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा, राइट? तो आप एक काम कर सकते हैं, इफ यू आर ऑन द ग्रुप यू कैन पिंग मी, आई विल बी हैप्पी टू टॉक टू यू।
नहीं सर, ग्रुप तो मैं ABIC कोहोर्ट 1 का ग्रुप में हूँ, मगर ये ग्रुप का मैंने जो API का दीपांशु सर है वो लिंक भेजा था, मैं उसी से ज्वाइन किया हूँ। तो ये कौन सा ग्रुप है?
मैं ABIC ग्रुप में भी हूँ, आप वहाँ पर पिंग कर दीजिए। ओके,
अच्छा, ABIC ग्रुप में भी है जो कोहोर्ट 1 का चल रहा है अभी?
नहीं पुराने
ठीक
ग्रुप में
है,
हूँ।
अच्छा है जयदीप जी, आपको हम शुभेंदु से अलग से कनेक्ट करा देंगे, तो
हाँ
आप
ओके सर।
इवन शुभेंदु कैन बी वन ऑफ योर मेंटर्स आल्सो इफ यू।
हाँ सर, हैप्पी टू हेल्प, ऑलवेज देयर फॉर फाउंडर्स।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर।
Yeah. So Ashish has asked another question. So Ashish is saying, "What's your opinion on nut milks?" Yeah, Ashish. So in fact, when I felt sick, I really consumed a lot of nut milk, almond, coconut, cashew also. Right, it's very gut friendly. It's a large market. It's going to become a large market, And if you're doing something seriously, happy to talk to you, because that's going to, we can work closely there, right? So so it's a good market. It's actually growing, and not just in India, it's outside India, right? So if you can really build a good product, it's free of additives, right? The problem with nut milks in India today is they have a lot of additives, guar gum, right? Xanthan gum, and then they have some oil. They put sunflower oil, right? So that's where these nut milks fail, right? They are promoting good health, but they have these additives, and what is the purpose then? They're defeating the purpose. So you can focus, but then you have to build a self-stable nut milk, which is tasty and at a good price point, right? So I think that is where a lot of food processing innovation has to happen. But if you do that, then there's a great market there. Absolutely, that's a good area to go forward. Mithai Mate has asked question. Yeah, Mithai Mate, tell me.
Hi, sir. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening.
What's your name?
I'm Shubhra Jyoti.
Okay, tell me.
Sir, it's firstly, thank you so much for spending time with us. It's been a nice
My pleasure.
session, absolutely, because we get to read all of things, but it's absolutely clear when you put one by one stage, and it's become very clear to us. Thank you so much for that. Just coming to that question one, yeah, I'm trying to build a brand on a switch, okay? And the switch will be for a health enthusiast, diabetic kind of a person, okay? Looks fine. I build a product on that, did a couple of trial, sound interesting for a customer perspective. However, I need someone to speak to, like you, maybe one-on-one. I don't know whether it's possible for you or not. Maybe one-on-one, I want to discuss a couple of points. May not be the right forum here.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem. You can. I think Sakshi can help us connect. She has my email, so she can get us connected on email. Then we can talk. Like I said, happy to help. And like I said, I'm myself getting into more health, into health tech area, right? So, anyways, I'm open to see what other health or a lot of food founders are doing, right?
Yeah, thank you so much, because I really need that. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Good. So, sir, I have a call actually at 6:30. So, I think anybody who has any questions can probably reach out on the group. I'll be happy to talk to them.
Yes. I think that they can put on the email. Through email, they can connect. I think what you can do, Sakshi can write, Sakshi, in the chat box, you write the email of Subandhu. Is it okay, Subandhu?
Yes.
Sir. I'll just put it now also.
You can put your email. Then those who are interested, they will write email to you, and this will be really great service.
So I put in my email. Just write an email. We'll fix some time, and we can do one-on-one also. Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
So they will have some customer. That is the formally. Yes, Sakshi. What will
Yes.
Sakshi? Go.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful and insightful talk. Now, I would like to request Ms. Vandana to give vote of thanks.
Before that, you have to close the presentation. Subandhu, can you?
I'm doing that. Yeah.
Yes. Nice. Now.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the FCTL team, it's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for today's webinar. Firstly, I'd like to thank Professor H.N. Mishra, sir, for coordinating this webinar under the FCTL webinar series. This webinar series has been incredibly useful for our professional development. And a huge thanks to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Shubhendu Panigrahi, sir, for sharing invaluable insights and inspiring us all. Your wisdom has truly illuminated the path for aspiring entrepreneurs. And a special thanks to all our enthusiastic participants. And we hope to see you all continue joining us for the future sessions in this webinar series organized by FCTL. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, a special thank Subandhu. Keep it up. Really, you have. What I am telling, a special thanks to you for this excellent presentation and very highly motivating. And I am sure those who have listened today, definitely some of them will definitely get the advantage of your talk and bring the product their market with more bigger. Great.
Sir, I've learned from you only. I've learned from you. I've learned from the master.
That's all. चलो ठीक है, अभी नेक्स्ट टाइम बंगलोर आते हैं तो फिर मुलाकात होगी.
We'll catch up. Anyways, we have to catch up on the new idea also. Huh?
Sure. Okay, thank you. Bye
Bye everyone. Yeah.